Thanks for letting me know that I've been muted for the first 15 minutes of the stream. That's unfortunate. So anyway, I guess we'll restart it again. So hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. So today we are going to be looking into implementing VE offloading, so the vector engine offloading library in Rust. And we're doing that because we were looking at some kind of tools out there that are written in Rust that we might want to use. And we're wondering, how easy or how difficult would it be to integrate that with the vector engine? And so we don't know. In theory, it should be fine. But yeah, I have no idea if it works or if there's going to be incompatibilities or if things get optimized away or anything like that. So yeah, that's my goal here, to do some more low-level stuff as I get bored with the high-level stuff if I do it too much, and see, can we offload work onto this PCI vector engine from Rust. Now, we're not going to be tackling programming the vector engine in Rust in this stream. I don't think. It might be a topic for another stream. So there is Clang support for the vector engine. It's not as good as NEC's C compiler. So, that will be interesting, right? Like, essentially the NCC compiler kind of really works by expanding loops and kind of taking those loops and implementing them with the vector instructions. Clang has very limited capability for doing that, and it's kind of like an ongoing thing to make Clang be a really good vectorizing compiler for these type of architectures. So if we are going to be doing Rust in the vector engine, like directly, we can in theory do it using Clang, but the performance wouldn't be there for just plain Rust code, right? It would have to be using intrinsics and stuff, which is something that we could do, or possibly kind of like, I don't know, having a special vector type. Like we could make a special vector type that has an operation that calls the intrinsics for each method, and I think that's one way of doing things, but probably not necessarily ideal. But anyway, even if we're going to do that, you do have to compile the code into some library and then load that into the vector engine and call it from the host processor. And we are going to do that first step. So the VEO library is a library that allows you to load an SO file onto the vector engine. Then you can call a function by looking it up by a string. So kind of like, I've got the name right now, like DL open and those kind of related functions. So you kind of like look up these symbols and call those functions and set the stack, read the stack. So it's a pretty low level thing. But yeah, that's kind of what you have to do if you're going to have like a host process that offloads work into the vector engine, because either the way it works is you're either just going to Linux and saying run vector engine program, and then it loads it into the vector engine, and whenever there's output, it gets sent to your console. Or you load a program in the vector engine, you load a program in the host, and you do kind of standard Unix IPC to synchronize those two programs. And libveo is essentially a hard-coded version of that. So it has a simple but low-level and fast API for calling functions on the vector engine with very minimal overhead. So that's what we're going to do. And let me kind of make this be presentation mode. I don't want it to look like that, please. Let's keep it this size, but in presentation mode. Okay, so let's first start by just doing some C calls in Rust. I'm familiar with Rust, but I haven't done foreign function interface calls, so this will be the first thing. But anyway, so we have the libc crate installed. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try calling get PID and print it out in here and see how that works. So if I'm not mistaken, to do that, you do an extern block, and we can have like get PID, and I think that returns a size T. It's either 32-bit or size T. It should fit in size T on this thing, so that should be fine. So if we do this, we have an external function reference, and we should be able to call this. So say hello world, and then print line the PID of this process is, and then we'll call get PID. I think we might have to this is an unsafe call, so we better run that in here. Okay, and call to an unsafe function. Don't say. Okay, so let's see how this works and see if there's anything else we need to do. Hello world, the PID of this process is 163744. Okay, so that's pretty good. Making good progress already. Cool. So let's go into linking. Okay, so let's do a link call, and the name would be the VEO or libVEO, one of the two. One thing I could probably use is there is a Java CPP based wrapper of this, and I might be referencing that as we go along. I'll just go on the basics. Okay, so we can link to VEO, and this is the simplest thing that we can do with VEO here. And then we look up the libVEO docs. And if you're not familiar with that, that would be this. Let me switch my screen. Window should be that one. Let me get that to be a good size. So VE Offload here is the main one. There is also, I think, a VEO, which is kind of the current one. It's the faster version, essentially, and that's the one we'll be using. But it has a compatible, a compatible library. So anyway, you can see here what you mainly have to do is call, VEO and load this library. So that's why we need to use that in the link. And yeah, so we can see here there's a couple of functions. So unloading library is one that's actually kind of slow. But let's see if there's a simple test that we can. Yeah, those are high-level tests. So I kind of want like an example type of thing. There should be an example. I'm pretty sure I've seen an example somewhere. Maybe it's in the VE Offload. Let's look at the original. Yeah, the original had these examples. Let's look at libve hello, which has this hello function and print buffer, and no, we don't want that one. We want this hello.c. Yeah, something like this, right? So essentially the API is VEO proc create, and then you give it the 0 to specify, a vector engine based off of the environment variable, or you can specify which vector engine you want to use here. Then you get a little process handle. Then you do VEO load library. And you give it the SO file that you want to load. And then you can get a symbol from that, like the hello function. You open a context, allocate space for the args, right? And then you can say, give it a integers assigned 64-bit integer with the value 42. So that's arg0 should be 42. And then you can call, do VEO call async using the context and the symbol in the args. And that will give you an ID that you can use for that. And I think you can, there's also a call sync or wait result. So you can like set up different things and wait for those things to finish. Then once those are finished, you can free the args and close the context. You can't really close the proc once you create it. It's there for the rest of your program, if I'm not mistaken. But if you close the context, that will clean up pretty much everything else, and it should be ready to go. So yeah, let's start with this, which I think should give us enough to see what's going on. Now, I think we need the offload H here. So because we're doing proc create, we get a proc handle, and proc handle I think is just opaque. Yeah, it's just some opaque struct. I'm not sure how to do that in Rust. We'll see. Okay, so let me switch back to the IDE. Okay, so I'm going to, oops, put that here, I think. Okay, so let's start with making these opaque references. How can I create an opaque reference in Rust? I'm gonna assume it's something like struct, and I can do VEO proc handle. And nope, I guess you can't put struct inside of that. So let me see if I can see what size T looks like. C. So I don't know what this S macro is, but I have pub struct something, and then I have pub stuff that should work. I can create pub types things. I guess it doesn't have to be in the X term. That's essentially what it is. which makes sense. But I have no idea what that S macro is. And that I see. So essentially for every pub struct that exists, we attach this repr C to it, and that should be enough. So let's see. Okay, so if I have a pub struct VEO proc handle, and it's defined multiple times, so that makes sense. Okay, and then we just have a repr C here. And I'm going to keep these named the way they are, so that's fine. Do some management here. Okay. Then for here, we should be able to have a VEO rock create, and it takes an int, so that should be an I64. I guess we should be using cint. So we'll have a VE node, I think is what it was called. Then this should return a VEO proc handle. Okay, let's see how broken everything is right now. Proc create is never used. Yes, warnings. I think there's a way to ignore, right? Do egg. How do I do that? Ignore unused in Rust is allow unused. Okay, so I think I've got to put it up here. So anywhere in this file, we will allow unused. Okay, let's do the build. Not FFI safe. That's interesting. Let me see if they have an example of that. So, I'm kind of looking at the foreign function interface docs on the Rust website. Their example is using Snappy, which only uses like simple types. So that's not very useful for us right now. Okay. So how do I create a C safe struct? They show how to do callbacks. I have a Rust object. And the C code has just a void star. It's like, yeah, really good at like skipping the hard parts. Accessing foreign globals, foreign call conventions, not necessary. Null pointer optimizations, also not necessary. Unwinding, yeah, that could be a thing that we'll have to do. Representing opaque structs. Yes, that's perfectly fine. We can represent this in Rust with the C void type. Okay, so should have guessed. There's a C void type. And we can just forget that because it is just an opaque thing. And then we just use C void here. Okay, so that should be building, or of course it's not going to be building because it doesn't have LVEO. And how to specify that is something I'm not familiar with. Probably going to be a build.rs type of thing. Hey Freeman, how's it going? Yeah, so today what we're going to do is just the VE offloading. So to do this, we need to actually create C++ code or C code, technically C code, that will get compiled into an SO file. And then once it's compiled to an SO file, we can load it in here and then call that code. And I'm going to make a kind of like nice Rust wrapper. That's mainly what we want. Compiling Rust to the VE would be like something for a later stream. Probably doable. It probably won't be fast, but you could, in theory, make a bunch of kind of intrinsic code that would work pretty well. So yeah, anyway, so right now we're just at that step one. So we got to call VEO proc create. Then let me just finish some of these things. So we can have function VEO load library, which should take a proc handle. So that's a C void. And const char. So this is plot handle C void, and then lib path or something like that. Which is there a C string? That's a char. Can I make that a array reference? Not sure if that will work. Let me see if I can see an example in the docs. Let's see if there's string listed here. Oh, there's a standard FFIC string. And read line. Yeah, pretty sure that's not going to work. what they're showing is what we can do is do a const u8 pointer. And that makes sense. That's more useful. And for us, there's C string, and then we can use this to create a thing we can pass. Or null. Yeah. Okay, and let's also allow this non-state case thing to just get rid of more warnings, because I know what I'm doing. Unused imports. We also want unused imports. So let's just turn that on there for now. Did I not just enable that? Allow, there we go. Fine, whatever, I give up. I would also like, okay, anyway, so this is the main thing. We don't have VEO, and we do need that. The path is that we have these things. So where is VEO usually? Good question. Usually it would be an opt necve, and if I'm not mistaken, there should be lib 64 or just lib, and then there's lib, yeah, aveo and veo. Aveo is here, but I think we can get, we just need a libveo. HMEM. I don't think we want libveo HMEM. So, but we should have it in the include. Hcall. One sec. So let's find in opt necve name VEO. VEO-H. Where do we have that? One sec. Opt necve. And then there we have NCPy. I do have VEO installed, right? Opt NEC. That's the thing. This is a different computer. I might not have installed it. Thing is called VEO. Yeah, I think it's not installed. Which is weird. How can I go this long without installing VEO on this thing? It's like one of the first things we've done. Anyway, let's install these. So yeah, the thing was called aveo run. That's what I was looking for. And I think we can do install this. So I got su in this machine. Yum install that. And I think if we just install devel, that should be enough. It has a lot of things to install. Oh, interesting. They've updated this. So there's VE Offload AVO Run VE1, which I might need to install. Because there's like a different one for the VE3, so that's new. So let's install those. Yeah, this is a really new thing, which worries me about being a little too new for this machine, because this machine is kind of old, but working, so I don't want to mess with it too much. Another weird thing about this machine is I kind of got it in a weird state. I think I need to update. Oh man, I probably have to update a lot of stuff. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. Do not like that at all. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. I mean, nobody's using this machine, so it's kind of fine, but it's gonna like at least take a long time to install, which is not what we want right now. The other VE machine is kind of out of commission. And the only one that is working is a production server, so I don't want to be messing with things in there. So it's going to have to be this one. And I think there's a lot of things I need to update. And I didn't want to update it. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. But it could be a good chance to check 3.0. Yeah, and it will install it apparently. So yeah, let's give it a shot, see how it goes. I need to make myself another vector engine server for stuff. The other thing that I'm trying to do is to get a vector engine to work in an external enclosure. So that's why I can't use my workstation, because I actually removed the vector engine from my workstation and put it in a Thunderbolt case. And I want to get that working, but I need cables, and I need to figure out how to get that working in Red Hat. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. What's taking up so much space on root? Probably nothing, it's just that root is very small. That sucks too. Yeah. Damn it, CentOS. You're so nearsighted with your defaults. Let me see if there's anything stupid taking up a lot of space that I can get rid of. So let's see. Home is very big, but it's also 1 terabyte drive, so that's fine. And of course, opt is huge. Var has a lot of stuff that I think doesn't have. And run, why is run 4 gigabytes? It seems to be a lot. Root has a bunch of stuff too. Probably not needed. What's in here that's so big? The SDK. That's the biggest normal file I have here, but it's supposedly taking up 4 gigs. Did we have some dot file? Some Keras and Java CPP stuff that we probably get. Yeah. So with the Thunderbolt, I have the cable, and the machine does have Thunderbolt, but when I connect it, it doesn't show up anywhere. And I think it's a mix of the kernel not supporting it and me not knowing how to do that in Linux. Like, I've never done like external Thunderbolt things on Linux, and it was quite difficult to find that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I have no idea. Probably does not work with CentOS 7, which wouldn't surprise me. It's really old. So I kind of was like, well, I'll update to CentOS 8 or, like the later ones, and then try again. And that's where it's been at. Haven't gotten to it, which is the main thing. Okay, so let me DUSH not dot star. No. What is it that I want to do? I always forget this. I have to do it every once in a while, and then I always forget how to do it. Yeah, I haven't tried connecting it to a really new Linux, and the reason why is because the drivers are for like Red Hat, so kind of felt like that probably wouldn't work. I could be wrong, but that's why I haven't done it. And it's just one of those things. It's been like, yeah, I got to do that eventually. Okay, so let me get rid of this cache. .spt, .keras. I think I don't need Keras. I don't need a VS Code server. And that should be. So that's pretty much all the big stuff. And now my root has 16 gigs, which I think is enough to continue that update. Yeah, it does. So that's the thing. So on Windows, I had it connected, and it does show up on Windows. I can see all the different kind of like devices that the VE exposes on PCI, like all the performance counters and stuff that shows up in Device Manager. So I know that it should work, but then getting it to actually show up on LSPCI on Linux, that's the thing that just didn't work. So yeah. Can I see it through the dock? Through the dock. What do you mean? But it definitely shows up in Device Manager. So in theory, it should work. And I would love that very much, because I would say the most annoying thing about the actively cooled vector engines is they have a very loud fan. And because I do this stream and stuff like that, I would rather not have that very loud pitch fan, like clogging up the sound quality here. So that's the main thing, right? Like, I don't care if it's super slow or anything like that. If I can use the vector engine in this when I want to use it in an external thing, and then when I don't want to use it, I just unplug it. That would be ideal. And yeah, actually, so one of the things I was really hoping is to be able to use it with my laptop, right? So I could just lug this thing around along with my laptop and then just plug it in and do VE things whenever I wanted. But it turns out that Mac doesn't do this kind of external PCI thing. So I mean it does, but it doesn't do it in the virtualization system that they have. So doing that with like libvirt would not, I don't think it's called libvirt. It's something like that. That might not work. I mean, it didn't look like it was going to work, so I haven't tried it. And I actually did the boot camp thing on my Mac so that I could like reboot to Windows to then use the VE via Hyper-V PCIe pass-through. But then I needed the space on my laptop, so I kind of gave up. So eventually, one day, I'll have an extra Windows laptop around. I'll maybe do that. I could, like, if so. The other option is having CentOS running on the Mac, and there's no reason why that wouldn't work if the drivers were there. So yeah, just one of those things I gotta do. Yeah, and like, maybe you're not, this thing doesn't fit in your pocket, but, like, there's the VE in there, right? You can totally lug this around wherever you wanted. So I think that's pretty cool. Just haven't had the time to do it. I could probably boot from an external SSD. I also think I need another cable. Yeah, I need another cable. I have spinning Rust HDDs that I could use, but only one Thunderbolt cable. So I don't know. It's something that I plan to do eventually. And the cool thing about it is, because the Thunderbolt cable does the power too, right? I just plug this thing into the wall, and then I have one cable going into the Mac, and it doesn't need to, that's where it charges from. It's enough to power it and do all the signals, which that's crazy, right? The fact that you can do that kind of thing is totally crazy. Anyway, so we're about halfway done downloading the entire internet. So while we're waiting, I think I'll just keep doing the extern stuff because there's a lot more things to do. So let's see. So we have load library. We have proc create. There's VEO get sim, which takes the handle, void, and 64-bit integer, unsigned. Can I use that, or do I need to use a C version of that? Maybe it's more correct to use the C version of that. Okay. I don't know. Let me see if I can bring up the documentation, because that would have the names of the API. Okay, so we are at get sim, right? So get sim VEO get sim. So that's the proc, and then the libhdl. That's the handle. Okay, this thing returns something. So load library returns, yeah, a uint64. So this thing, oh god, can I turn that off? That's like, this is so annoying. Load library returns a cu long. I guess it's technically a size t. I think that's the more correct term, right? So this should be size t. That's the library handle. And then the last thing for this would be get context. No, get sim. Sim name, of course, which should be a const u8 reference, and then that returns another size t. Okay, so with these three things, if I can get these working, I'll be happy for now. Okay, so that was installed. And that's great. Bin VE command. Where did my stuff go? Oh, so many new things. I hate it. They moved all my cheese. Okay. Where is VE command in? Where's VE command? Did it go away? You still have V to SMI, so might as well use that, but can't do that. Cool, I guess. I'm pretty sure it's not loaded. I have to do a restart. libv product info. Yeah, I think VE LS CPU. good one to try. Yeah, everything says that's not happening. So let's give this a reboot. Pretty sure this is safe for this machine. And have to reconnect this. Okay, so let's wait for that to come back online. Yeah, it's so annoying that they changed so many things. I understand why they changed the things, because like you want to have those commands on your path, but they use the same names as the regular Linux ones, right? So yeah, I can kind of see why that's a problem, right? Like you're be shadowing top or LSCPU or all these things. So because of that, you had to always do the opt necve thing, which was kind of very annoying. So having VE hyphen makes a lot of sense. It's definitely the right call. But the things that weren't shadowed, I thought they should stay the same, I think. Anyway, let's monitor this thing coming back online. It can take quite a while to come back online, but and so I can also show. So while we're waiting for that to come up, let's go do. Just look at the API for VE offloading, which is interesting. It has like all the different APIs that are here. For me, the cool, interesting ones are like this VE share memd, VE DMA, right? And this HMEM, right? So I think this is mainly for like HMEM is the heterogeneous memory, so it's mainly for MPI things. But yeah, just to be able to like create a shared memory region and then share that between things should be pretty fast for some of the things that we want to do. And this I think is new and pretty cool, I guess. I don't remember seeing this before, but I could be wrong. Yeah, and for HMEM, yeah, VE Arch. Yeah, this is definitely new. That should be a new thing. And the VEO API is pretty simple. Kind of annoying. Like it's pretty low level, but it's not the craziest API. Okay, so it is back up. So let's get the IDE back up and running. One sec. Rust Rover. Such a weird name. I do not like that name at all. Rust Rover. Like IntelliJ is a good name. It's a perfectly fine name. The other ones, I'm not so sure. Rider is the C# one. I don't think it's a bad name. It kind of explains like how it's implemented. But Rust Rover do not like that. Anyway, okay, so we're back. We should have this up and running. Let's become root real quick and see that is weird. Okay, so we have so we gotta wait for MMM to finish starting up. So that's cool. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Bunch of stuff kind of happening. Hopefully MMM is not broken. I have the feeling that's not starting, so start all the services, which you should be able to do multiple times. I don't know why that would not be not working, but let's just try it. Let's do the command info. Give it some time to start. Regardless, I think the build might happen. Not as root though, but let's try running it. Okay, so cannot find LVEO, and that should be an Optimus CVE include libaveo is not installed. AVEOVE is there. It kind of makes sense because that would be the VE side of things. So the hosts host side this might be a good way. So if we find Vita, that should do things. VEOS lib64. It could be in the VEOS directory. That could make a difference. VEOS. Then we'll have lib. That's not what I want. Lib64 as Vita, and libve. Yeah, libveo is here. So how can we add a custom lib directory to Rust builds? I think GPT-4 will know the answer to that. There's Rust flags. Makes sense. Is there a way to do that in the cargo file, though? Ooh, Rust bind gen. I'll have to look at that. Okay, whatever. Let's go in here. Let's go to environment variables and put my Rust flags be equal to L opt necveos lib64 and I think it's also got to complain about the include directory too. So let's just see if we can link. I mean, it could look in the LD library path. I'm not sure if Rust build does that. Oh, hey, that worked. Okay. And it doesn't care about the includes because we're doing it there. That makes sense. Okay, cool. So, hey, we're pretty good. Let's create a proc. If, well, before that, we should check if I can V command. That's not good. That does not look good at all. MMM needs something. VDRV is all good. Syscontrol status. I mean, let's try the stop and start method. Something that happens every once in a while. We terminate all the services. That could be a problem. This should have VMMD, and then system control start MMM. So system CTL status MMM. This is error. That's no good. VE monitor failed. Why did it fail? Good question. Eventually we'll get to the, yeah, I tried shutting it down and didn't like it because it wasn't started. Okay, we have Kubernetes running on this thing. Ah, right. We have a lot of vector engine testing stuff. This is kubectl. It is. We are running micro-KDS. Yeah, okay. Okay, so could that have caused issues? No, it shouldn't. Let's see. Start it again. That's not what I wanted. This thing did. Okay, so we PeerMem. We don't have PeerMem. That's fine. And it starts those things. The DRV should be loaded. Last mod. Yep. Okay, so that is totally loaded. And not started up. Now, what was that journal CTL thing? It's like XE or something? No. Yeah. I'm not sure. It might have changed to VE3 mode, which would be very annoying if it did. Okay, that's completely not what I want. Let me check. Was there a VE3 mode in the new drivers? Let me look up the documentation. So in the vector engine, yeah, I didn't think there was a specific mode for that. And this mod probe seems to be fine. No errors there. So yeah, so there was that. Install VEO. I think it was supposed to be VE1 or something like that. That was actually in the documentation for installing, getting started. Yeah, we wanted VE offload AVEO run VE1. Yeah, so that's already installed. So that's good. Where is the... Let's go see if we can find some logs. Local. No, it was var. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in local. It's not there. Var opt. Okay, yeah, var opt. And then there's NEC's directory here. That's where they have the VE directory. We can go to log. And there's a lot of, I think, logs that we can't read in there. But in MMM, there's a log. We can see some stuff here. This machine has gone through, this machine has seen some shit. So ignore the errors and warnings that you see there. Initialization error. That's fun. Could it be a kernel version thing? But the driver's loaded fine. The driver's loaded fine, it shouldn't be. VI log summary. It's all old stuff. Old stuff. Old stuff from 2 years ago. Does VEOS have a log that we can use? I don't think so. It can't be that this changed. That should be the same. Why are there 3 things in here? This machine only has 2. Yeah, I guess it shouldn't matter too much. It just wouldn't get mapped. We have VE0 and VE1, so those are there. Kernel module is loaded. VEOS has VEOS must be loaded. So started error V monitor. Let me Google this to see if there's anything on the internet about that. Of course there isn't. It's Google giving me ads for like guns. I don't understand why. That's yeah, there's nothing that mentions VE error, whatever. VE monitor. So I think there's something we can do with VE monitor. I think that was an S bin. VE monitor is here. Can start it. I'm not sure if it has any. Yeah. This is the main reason why I didn't want to do stuff, because we'd be like stuck figuring out what we need to do. VE monitor. Where does VE monitor log to? If it's not MMM. I thought I did. Micro K status. It's not running. So that should be fine. If I'm not mistaken. Tracing. Why do we have tracing turned on? That's really old stuff. ATC system. D system tracing. What did we call that thing? Oh, that's so annoying. Maybe I should reinstall this machine. It's not a terrible idea. A lot of old stuff here. VE monitor. Pretty sure there was like a log directory for VE monitor. VEMMM. What's in there? So optics VEMMM has some stuff. Probably not what we want. A spin VNNV monitor. Started error. BE monitor. Why would BE monitor fail? Not sure. I don't think I've experienced that before. Is there anything we can do with VE command? Running VE monitor with strace? Well, that's interesting. Doing things in VE3. So var opt nec VE3. This is a new thing that I haven't looked into. So now let's see what's in these logs. Interesting. TD also nothing. Also interesting. And there was issues as it was trying to do that. Trying to stat, and there was no thing like that. That's a good point. I should remove my video thing. Or remove it. Can I? How do I move my video? So move myself up for now. Layout. There we go. Okay, so we know it's trying to access this, and it can't. For that, it is getting local time. And setting that. Setting that. Okay. So can we touch that and try again? And seek, nothing. Exit with 0. Is that better? Let's see. Let's terminate all the services and start all the services. Oops. We've got MMM status, says it's failed. System CTL stop. Stopped. And start. Hmm. Let's see. So, want that. Is there something missing from here? I don't think that might not exist. Oh, it does exist. Okay. Hmm. That's interesting. Look at that log file. That makes sense. So let's VI that thing. Not Aurora 3. I don't think that's a problem. Interesting. That's interesting. Kind of pain. Monitor env, it's just that. Some weird spec. That's kind of funny that that thing is implemented that way. Is there error log in here? That's new. I don't think so. Yeah, nothing in particular new in there. And that's all the firmware files, so nothing in there we can really do anything with. Nor anything there. That is annoying. Okay. And so we want S256 and then seems to be taking a long time. Or it's running, one of the two. And running could be a thing. Vim. Yeah, I don't think it's written anything, because it should be in ve.log. Ah, wait, never mind. Idiot. Okay. vimv.log. It's already in strace syntax mode, I think. Looks to me like it's running. No, it's not running. No. System CTL status. Okay, so it's trying to kill 0. Killing 0 does not seem to be very conductive to anything. What happens if you try to kill PID 0 and there's no PID 0? So it has done something. I mean, something about this looks better. So I don't know. Let me stop this. Up NCP bin. This bin terminate. Stop. Opt ECV has been start all these services. I think that restarts. Could be wrong. I don't know. Yeah, it's writing started error. This could be a thing we might touch. This doesn't exist, right? Yeah, nothing. Oops. Var run the. Yeah, there's nothing. So let's touch it. There's something really weird about the history of that shell. I do not like it. And I would really like to have that killed, but I don't know how to kill it. I just stopped. Wasn't it %1? Oh, now it's in the background. Weird. Okay. So let's system CTL stop MMM. Let's give bin CV. Yeah, sure. Just kind of writing the same thing over and over. I couldn't do it. So, yes, trace log. Yeah, so we have a bunch of these kills at the end, which I think is just sleeping, right? Then before that, tries to write this debug log. And I think it probably trying to delete this VE monitor PID. I don't think it's like trying to write to it. Man, could you imagine having a single box with 32 vector engines? That's crazy. Okay. Arch class. I really hope that Cargo's cat, which I have no idea why in the world Cargo would have cat, would be interfering with that. That would be so dumb. Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems a lot happier than it was before, which is kind of weird. Why does it have that problem? Yeah, let's try reading that. This thing, right? It's not a thing. This device is PCI 16 0.0.0.0.0.17. VE exists. We got VE 0. And what we want is VE Arch class. And there is no VE Arch class. Type 2 or 3. Yeah, exactly. It's populated by the driver, so it's not like we can touch our way out of this. Yeah, I can't do anything in here. Hmm. Let me see the driver version. Is there a way to see the driver version? That's a really good question. I mean, other than yum info VDRV. Okay, so the thing we have installed is 282.4.1160. And there's a 301 for 1160. So I guess we need to update that. Why it did not update that, I do not know. So I can't terminate because it's not started. So let's start. Oh, and it says the install failed. I should have read that. It is in use. Yes. So in use by what? VEDRV is okay, so I think we also need to rmod VP and VEDRV. In use. And it's in use because being started. Yeah, it's in use. And terminate does not do, one second. So okay, so let's try stopping VMMD and MMM. systemctl stop mmm stop VOS stop VE VRE VOS launcher and state monitor launcher at 0 and 1. Okay, then VOS state monitor at 0 and at 1. And perhaps the set huge pages. And IVED. And then now, nothing is using that. So we can do mod probe dash, which I always write as probe dash RVDV. Cool. And now we update. The fact that that terminate kind of needs things to be working, it's not a good design. Okay, so didn't immediately fail, so now things might be looking better. And we can finally get back to doing stuff. That would be great. Doing what we set out to do in the first place. One thing I've been thinking about a lot is kids these days don't have this arcane knowledge. Like, why do I know many of the things I know? It's because there are things called soft modems. And back in the day, if you wanted to get on the internet with Linux, with soft modems, you had to do some shit, right? You had to compile kernels, you had to compile kernel modules, you had to do all of the stuff that I'm doing right now to get that stuff working, and 90% of the time it wouldn't work. So yeah, I learned all this stuff, I don't know, when I was a teenager or something like that. And yeah, I mean, the kids who know this stuff, that's fine, right? Like, but yeah, a lot of people these days, like the thing that really was crazy was our new website is built with Astro, and I went to the website to see how do I deploy this static built thing on Apache or something like that. And every single one of their examples of how to deploy was some cloud provider. And they had no documentation at all about how to host these static files on a web server that you own. And I was like, good Lord, like hipsters these days, they're all tools. Okay, so either this will work or I have to reboot, one of the two. Okay, cool. Now we're getting somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, I remember back in the day I tried external modems, and I had like our 56K modem, and I somewhere was able to kind of look online to see what modems did work. And I found one, and it was very expensive, and somehow I was able to get my hands on it. And then I could be on Linux on the internet, and it was an amazing thing. Yeah. Okay, so that is good. Started tests. So now we can do the command info, and things are offline, but they're offline with brackets, so I think they won't be offline for long. Initialization error, that's super old. Status, I think of state, get. Offline. What was offline with brackets? That's running. State cannot write. I don't like that. Could be that we need to reboot again. Yeah. Let's give that a try. So let's stop the screen sharing. Get out of the terminal. Close and stop. And then reboot VH001. Make sure I don't reboot the wrong machine. Can't say how many times that's happened. So, yeah, making progress. And now let's wait for the machine to come back up, and it takes a little bit. But I have faith. I have faith that we will be able to offload something. We'll need to make some function too. But that part's easy, I guess. Let's see, still not pinging. The thing about servers is always how long they take to start. And how long they take to start depends on how much memory they have. So the bigger your servers, the more they take to start. And yeah, when it comes to school and like those lockdown things, like everything's always been locked down. Like the only time they weren't locked down when I was growing up is like, you know, the Apple II computers that I had, because locking them down didn't mean anything, right? Like there was nothing to lock down, so they were useless anyway. But yeah, we've always had lockdown machines. Okay, so we're back. It's back up. So I will reconnect and reshare. Yeah. But at the same time, like those laptops that they give kids these days, they other kids are going to use them, right? Like they're not really yours, right? Like you have to give them back and the next kid uses them. So it kind of suck if people bricked it, you know. Okay, share screen window. Okay, I think we're back in business. You bring this open, and I think I'll switch back to the original layout. There we go. I think that looks good enough. The command info state get going to be root. Oh. That incident when we reported thing is complete. Oh no, that's not good. Okay, so they are offline for reasons. That's so annoying. So annoying. Just give it a few seconds to make sure that they're not trying to do something. Let me check the NEC, the S-bin. Let me terminate. Okay. So everything is terminated. Should be nothing. And now let's start. And that starting will set them to online. So for me, that's the easier thing, is to like restart everything. V1 software update detected. That is interesting. I'm not sure if I need to update the firmware or not with the new driver. It's a good question. Okay. Should be about a minute or two. Offline. What is its problem? Okay, so they're offline. The driver version is that. Firmware version is that. Detection has finished. Why are they stopped? Full log output. Is there more log output? I wonder. EOS log. EOS. I like the old ones. Yeah, so if I do journal CTL, let's see a lot more stuff. Able to start VOS launcher for one. Interesting. Are we missing a library, I wonder? libvet. It is installed. Yeah, pretty sure we don't. Which libvet daemon? Okay. I have no idea where it is. It's probably in the opt NECBE directory, but maybe it's not. Oh, right. Should be done. Or at least there should be a sim link with this name. Or not. I'm thinking it looks okay. I mean, we could LD search path this thing, but it'd be weird if it needed that. That's like, you know, it's like probably not. Hmm. Hmm. So that loaded. Yeah, that's way too much stuff. The main thing is here. Okay, cool. That's not right. So that's good. Um, hmm. Oh, let me try. Journal. Service. Not right. Hmm. And control. Yeah, there's not a lot of information there. Hmm. Possibly, but why would it do that? I am kind of wondering this. Yeah, I'm like wondering maybe it's the software update, right? Like, and we need to kind of update the firmware, which I thought it would do when it starts. Yeah. Anyway, so I think I should check if there is a firmware thing. I cannot remember the command. Let me check Firmware. Update the BMC firmware. Okay, so let's check this. Services. Updating BMC firmware is required because 17 is less than 18. Okay. Now, where that exists is not specified in the documentation. So we'll find something with Aurora. Star bin. Oh, anyway, opt. Let's see if there's anything else in there. etc opt cvem bmc. Is that the new one or the original one? Who knows? State set off. And T failed. Yeah, that's not good. If it failed, then doing the firmware update would not work either, I think. It says it's required. So if the message, you need to update the BMC firmware. So we do state set off, then state set MMT, and we do firmware up. But they're not working, so we can't take them offline. So we can't do that. Well, that's annoying. Recompile BE command. Wait, is this the latest one? 1378. The command is part of MMM, if I'm not mistaken. So if we do info MMM 305, there should not be any way. Should be the latest, yeah. So it's not that. version of Inrun do we have? Version 305. Interesting. CVE run bin VE command. That's the new one. Okay. Okay, so that makes sense. Is there any new commands that I should look at? Yeah, this is why I didn't want to update this stuff. It's always a pain. Are there any other bin files? Well, I mean, it doesn't matter because we can't flash it if it's not online. That's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. This Mark 10 is the only one that exists. Terminate that. And then what does terminate do? Other than terminate all videos. Okay, so things are done. Okay, so that was unloading it all perfectly fine. So that's good. Maybe let me try remarking everything and installing it again. Let's do that. DE firmware. There's that. Interesting. What was the mark thing again? Ah, here it is. Okay. Okay. So what we want to do I'm looking at the installation guide. It's pretty useful. Okay, so we have the groups. We want the runtime. We see SDK runtime. VE front end. Then opt CVE has been also groups read mark. Because we just need the runtime and driver stuff. We don't need to worry about the compilers right now. So we don't really need VE to val. Okay. And then if we do yum root install okay, so yeah, VEOS was out of date. Why is Yum like this? Like, I don't remember having these kind of issues, even with Gen 2 and that. Oh, okay, never mind. No, I definitely had issues like this with Gen 2. That was not good. Okay, so this could possibly fix it. And then I should probably make a recording of this stream so that it becomes like documentation of how to update a vector engine. Just do some light editing. Yeah, having an out-of-date VEOS that could cause problems. An outdated VE sysinit, yeah, that could cause problems too. So it's amazing that it works at all. And VP, so we updated VE DRV, but not VP. So yeah, that's kind of important. Definitely need to follow things by the book. This might mean another reboot. I'm not 100% sure. But I'll give it a try. And that, that firmware flashing is a pretty scary thing. Like, so I know that there's this file that we're supposed to flash, but it has the same file name as the original. So am I flashing it older or newer? I have no idea. On kernel modules. That's another thing about like Yum is like woefully single-threaded, especially in these older versions. And a lot of times you have servers who have 30 cores or more. It doesn't matter because the OS stuff is all like single core. So pretty sure it's still working. I'd be so happy if I could call proc create and have it actually do something. That would be pretty cool. But we also need some C code. And this is where like the Vita thing is kind of cool. Like if I could make a new C file just called something.vita. I mean, what happens if you create a C file in a Rust thing? Like, will that break stuff? No. Anyway, so let's try this now. So now we'll opt etc opt necve bin start all VE services. I think the documentation does not say that you have to reboot after installing it. Yeah, I don't think it says that. So we'll start all the services. VM status. And we can check out the state. Offline. Booting up. Online, cool, we're good. What a journey. Serious. Okay, so we're back online. Didn't have to do any flashing, and I will avoid it for now. I'd rather not flash things. Okay, so I think we can get rid of that. Now, let's run this real quick. Cool, we have PID. Next, let's say let proc is equal to VEO proc create 0. And yeah, can't do anything about that. Let's just see if that has any issues. Okay, have no way of knowing if that did anything. Let's sleep or something like that. Use thread. Is that a thing? Standard thread. Okay, then we'll proc create and thread sleep duration, which we need to import. Okay, duration from seconds. Let's do 30 seconds sleep. Rerun. Okay, it is running. And then if we do opt Let me see, VE bin VE top. We have a VEO running. Cool. So that's good. That means that we are now able to busy loop the vector engine from Rust. So that's pretty good. We can now focus on making it do something. Okay, and then now that that exited, we no longer have anything else. So that's good. Let's do that test with the C file. So I'm going to create simple, I don't know. What should we call it? VE stuff.c. Okay, and include some standard io.h, and we'll have a int foo that takes an A and B, and it should return A times B. Sure, that's something you totally need the vector engine for. And we could, yeah, let's just do it this way. Then let's also have a long sum and yeah, let's just have long A, long B, long len, and we can have a simple for loop. And I plus plus, and then we'll have a, yeah, it's just the sum. So start with 0, and then let's do rect plus is equals to A of I plus B of I. Okay, so a couple of C functions that we can possibly offload to. After we do that, let's run the build. Okay, C files do not change anything. Cool. So let's make a new make file here. And yeah, we want a ve stuff.so. It's a ve stuff.o. I guess before we do the make file, let's do it manually. Okay, so ncc ve stuff.c. Does that compile? Here is now the main, which makes sense. So let's create a shared. How do I create a library with NCC? I have not done that. I thought it was shared. Yeah. CC shared, and then O VE, and let's call it libve stuff.so. Why is it linking with the main? So let me review this Cyclone stuff, because in Spark Cyclone we had a make file for all the native code, and that make file had a lot of good stuff in it, so I'm going to check that out real quick. Main resources, Spark Cyclone C++, make file. Okay, and what we were calling was benchmark objects. Yeah, libcyclone.so was shared O. What am I missing? What are we missing? I need FPIC, right? That should make a difference. Yeah. Vectorize the loop. And function start. Is that a standard IO thing? Anyway, so let me copy this thing so we can paste it in here and change some stuff. Okay, so let's go here and let's call this libve stuff.io. .so tests. We don't need tests. Yeah, let's get rid of these tests and benchmark since we don't need those, and examples just to make everything simple. Clean bomb. We don't need that. Okay, benchmark objects. Get rid of those. Benchmark sources, test sources. Shall find. I think we'll just put find.names. You see, that should be what we need. And the dependencies would be find.name C++. Okay, I think that work. All will be libve stuff.so. A lot of good stuff. Now this is C++, so we got to change stuff. Let's refactor this to CC, and then extern C. Okay, so that should do it, if I'm not mistaken. Why that worked and not whatever, I do not know. Cannot tell you. Pretty sure I did everything I mean, like, none of these things should matter. But anyway, we have a libve stuff.so now. So now let's see if we can load a symbol from it. So let lib is equal to veo load library. Give it the proc handle, and we do c string new libve stuff.so. The feeling that was not what we wanted. C string. We have to unwrap it. Unwrap, yes. And C string is from standard FFI. What's your problem here? We have a C string, but we want to constitute 8. Unwrap, and then as pointer, char. Char. Okay, that should be, that is more correct. Okay, unsafe pointer, I know. We live dangerously here. Okay, and then let sim is equal to veo get sim, our proc, have our lib, and we're going to call get foo. Okay, if you recall, foo is this thing here. And this needs to be a C string new foo unwrap. Let's put her. Okay, let's print. Can we print these things? Should just be big numbers. And let's also sleep. Let's run these things. Use of value proc, that makes sense. I don't know how exactly to do that with these things. Okay, because it's like, because this is a void. I can't just say, oh, this is a reference to the thing, because then that would be the wrong type of pointer. Or is it? One sec. Yes, we want a proc handle pointer and a C void according to the FFI documentation. Let's look for C void in the documentation. We should be making this a pointer. Possibly a mute pointer. Not 100% sure about that. See if it builds. It does not. Because you need to pass the address. Yeah, that's not going to do anything. does it know if it's mutating or not? External thing. We need I'm not sure that's 100% correct, but will it matter? Ah, that's annoying. Okay. Okay. Be useless. Be useless. Okay. Let lib name equal that. Okay, and then lib name dot as footer. And let's do that. That is one very useful and very smart compile time check there. Like, props to the team there. Seriously. Okay, did it crash? Yeah, sig bus error. That's an interesting one. And probably has to do with this like void pointer stuff. Now these do take okay, yeah. This is wrong because this should be a pointer. And if that is a pointer, then these do not have to be references. And therefore, we are making progress. Okay, libve stuff so cannot open shared object file. No such file or directory. It'd have to be an absolute path. It might be, but I didn't think so. Okay, yes, I did. Okay, cool. Hey, we have a library and have looked up the symbol. We are minutes away from calling a function on the vector engine. But unfortunately, that part is a little bit, it's a little bit annoying. Okay, anyway, so let's bring up the simple example here. Okay, let me just new file load.c. Okay, so this is the thing. We're at here. We loaded, got the symbol. Okay, now we need to context open, arg alloc, and set, then call async. Will a deep dive into OpenMP get me an HPC job, or a hope, or is it a hopeless stack? I would not say it's a hopeless stack. I would say it's probably, I mean, it's not sufficient, But it is probably necessary to really understand OpenMP for a lot of the jobs. But yeah, I wouldn't. I would totally learn it. And I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to. It's HPC is not like the leading edge of things, right? Like if you're learning front-end JavaScript, by the time you finish learning it, it's already obsolete. But in the HPC world, we still use Fortran. And knowing Fortran is a great way to get an HPC job. And when you're using Fortran, a lot of the time you do have to use OpenMP. And so, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. So, okay, so let's get started on these things. So let's context open. I'm never going to get used to this FN thing. We're going to take a handle, which is a constancy void. And this should return a thread context. The exact let me also bring up the actual header file. Okay, and let me also just bring that up here so that everybody's able to see the thing. So lib ve offload h looks like this. So we are opening a context here, and this returns this thread context, and that is not an opaque type. It is, or no, it is still an opaque type. That's cool. So we can do that. We can just do a const c void. Okay. Then we'll also want to close that context, which just returns an int. Copy context to be a const c void. Returns a c int. Okay, so now we can open and close contexts. Cool. Once we have opened the context, I'm going to alloc args. This is VO args, also same thing. Unlock, which takes nothing and returns a, this is definitely not const, but does it matter? I mean, the thing that like the thing that is pointing to, I guess, should be const, but like that is definitely not const. For VE stuff, we need int and long. I'm going to do I32 and I64. So fn arg set I32. Then this takes the args, which is c void, and c int, and then the c int. And this would be like arg num, and then value. Then similarly for I64, this will be a C long. Okay, and then we need to implement video call async. And call async takes the context and the symbol. Here, it's called sim. Sim return the size t, and then the args, which were a constant pointer c void, and that I think returns a size t. And then we can wait result. And the wait result, which takes the context void, this thing, whatever it is, and that thing. Let me figure out the names real quick. A video API, wait results. Wait result. Kind of hard to find because they're not organized alphabetically. Get alloc free write. Let's call wait results. Here we go. Okay, so this is the request ID. Which is the size t that we got from the call, and a mutable ret p, which is a mutable pointer to something. And that returns a int, c int. This is going to be a little sketchy. Like that is serious, like unsafe, you know? Yeah, that's going to be fun. Okay, and I think we'll want to what else do we want? Okay, so we create the args set call. Read mem, write mem, all async, all wait results. Ret null is some size t thing here. And then args free, so we definitely want that. And it will take the args, which is a const c void. And pretty sure this args free returns an int, right? No, it's void. Okay. Okay, cool. So in theory, this should work. It allows us to get that symbol. Then we should be able to call VEO args alloc like this. Let VEO args is equal to VEO args alloc. Right. Then VEO args set I32, give it the args 0 to 42. Did I multiply or did I? Okay. Yeah, let's do 42 as that one. Args 110. Okay, and this is a problem because VERs. Okay, now that we have those two things, we can do VEO call async. Did I forget to open the context? I did. CTX is equal to VEO context open, and that should take proc. Then VEO call async context CTX, and the symbol and VERs. Okay, and then that should return the request ID, which we should be able to print out. Okay, and then when we're done with that, we call VEO call wait results, and we need the context, the request ID, and a mutable pointer to the result. Now this should return an int. So if we have a let mute ret is equal to C. I can't do that, can I? I don't think I can do that. It should be a C int from 0, just to give it something. And can I pass a mutable reference? No. The compiler is saying that this is a mute size t. Wait, was it? As the void pointer. Should it be a const pointer? Good question. Print line. Just print it. I guess it should be fine. And then when we're done, we do VEO context close with the context. And then we should be good. Okay, let's see how bad we messed it up. We need a const or a mute in the pointer type. I mean, the pointer shouldn't change. Like, how? This part kind of confused me. I'm really wondering how does Rust know when you've gone outside? Connect. Disconnect. Okay. We expected a raw pointer. We found a reference. Can we do that? And we can't dereference I32. That makes no sense. But that seems wrong too. Is it possible to see void? Can you totally do that? That would be cool. Then there has to be a reference to that. But there's no cast for that. This is something I need to look up in there. Okay, so it seems there is a way that we can do this without using cvoid, but that shouldn't be necessary right now. How can I pass a reference to my stack? Do I have to make a vector? Hold on. Can I have ret as what if this was okay? Let's call this dest, right? It's a destination. So vec with capacity 1. And then I can pass dest as mute pointer. Does that compile? Cannot display cvoid. that would, okay, so this needs to be constantly void, but it's mu I32. Can I make this a mute I32 for now? Possibly. And if we run that, index out of bounds, the len 0. Okay, so that's cool. The len is 0, 5437. The index is 1. Rest ID is 3, so we have called, but the result is totally messed up. I see. Well, I mean, we're passing the vector, so probably gotten a lot of things messed up. And okay, so we need to do something else there. What if this is a mutable I32? And this thing requires an address. Okay, and then we can print the destination. Result 420. We did it. This has not been implemented in Rust. It is implemented on the vector engine and has run on the vector engine, and that is cool. So yes, it is possible to offload things onto the vector engine. That seems like a good place to end the stream this week. I think I will push this onto GitHub. It's definitely not in a complete state, but it's a good start. And by completing the VEO APIs, we're at the first step of calling and implementing functions in Rust, which is cool. For our purposes, we really don't necessarily care about that. It's more like, can we we have our current C++ based code, so can we offload stuff to that from a Rust code base that would solve some interesting issues? So yes, we can, and it works, so that's cool. So anyway, I'll be posting this up on the ExpressAI GitHub for those who are interested, maybe tomorrow, because it is quite late. But thanks for coming to see things and sticking around when we had so many issues with our vector engine libraries and stuff. But hopefully that gave everyone some ideas of how you debug these issues with vector engine libraries and the software installation and stuff like that. So cool. So yeah, we'll be back next week. Probably next week will be more, maybe perhaps vector related stuff than this per se, unless we kind of need it. Then we might go do the the next step, right? Like the Rust on the vector engine. But I'm not sure I know enough about Clang and Clang on the vector engine to even possibly attempt that. So I don't know. I'll try some experiments, and if anything's working, I'll give it a shot on stream. But if not, do some vector stuff, and in the background, prepare getting Rust on the other stuff. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I will see everyone next week. Thanks, guys. Bye.